With the general election looming ahead, voters can expect a number of changes introduced by the Elections Department or ELD. Now here are some of them. Changes include self-inking pens that allow voters to stamp an X with minimal pressure to indicate the party of their choice, and new polling booths made largely from cardboard and other recyclable materials. The ELD will hold roadshows ahead of the next general election to familiarize voters with the new equipment. Now, to explain more about these new changes, we have political correspondent Linette Lai. Welcome, Linette.
Hello.
So, Linette, if you could share with us more on these changes, what do we have first?
So first we have this self-inking stamp.
Okay.
Basically, if you voted before, you remember that at the polling booth there is a regular pen, and now they're replacing this with a stamp where you just press it down on the paper and an X will appear.
Right, and why is this change necessary?
What the Elections Department said today is that some old people have given feedback that they have trouble gripping the pen, and also sometimes people tend to write things. For example, they write their IC number, and that makes the vote invalid. So this overcomes some of those problems.
Okay, and apart from the pen, there is also the elections booth, the election booth as well. Something that is a bit more eco-friendly. A bit more on that as well.
Yeah, so that's actually a prototype that's been designed by students from the Singapore Institute of Technology. We won't see it, so the pens will be at all the polling booths, but for this prototype booth, we'll only see it at maybe one GRC and two SMCs, and it's made of cardboard mostly. We saw it today. It's quite stable, quite heavyweight, and it's wheelchair friendly as well.
Right. And why was there a change, to include this new election booth?
Well, it's significantly cheaper than what we have now. So what we have now, I believe it's made of metal. It costs about $750, and that's not including the storage cost between elections.
Right.
Whereas this new booth costs $30, so it's really much cheaper.
Much cheaper, and of course eco-friendly as well.
Yes, that's right.
And the most important aspect of it, the voting machine. Any changes to that as well in terms of voting machine?
So this round, what we're going to see is that they'll have electronic vote counting machines. So it's something like what you see in money changers or at banks where they count banknotes. But the votes themselves will be sorted by hand, and then they'll be put into the machines and they'll be counted. It's expected to speed up the whole results by about an hour. So we should hear things like an hour earlier than we would normally used to.
Right. And of course, all these changes, voters will be able to try and practice on them ahead of the election happening next year, right? There will be roadshows.
Yeah, there will be roadshows, I think, probably as soon as the Electoral Boundaries Review Committee releases its report, the whole thing will start kicking into gear so people can familiarize themselves with all this.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Linette, for coming on to share more on this. Now, to read more on the changes, you can read Linette's article on our website at straitstimes.com.